what the significance of Restore the Snyderverse going mainstream. We're gonna talk about that while I get myself to eat something, which I should have eaten much earlier than this, but I didn't. But anyway, we're gonna get into it, right? So, first and foremost, as you know, the phenom that's going on is 1.5 million tweets yesterday were tweeted in the event in which a member of the Snyder Cut community came together. We came together, and there was this very tremendous success on Twitter. Broke all kinds of records in terms of tweeting for comic book movies, etc. Right? And as a result of that, we still haven't gotten a response from Jason Keeler or HBO Max or Warner Media or AT&T concerning numbers or figures for the Snyder Cut from them. Also, in addition, remember, the only thing we've heard from Warner Brothers, any version of Warner Brothers, is Ann Sarnoff, and she has come out and spoken, about ending Zack Snyder's trilogy, ending the trilogy of Justice League, so we're not going to get parts 2 and 3. And also, she came out and spoke about not even releasing Warner Brothers Pictures, not even releasing the air cut. So, two critical things that need to move forward. So that's all the information we had. Now, coming off the stem of what happened with the fans, a lot of people saying, well, Warner Brothers needs to listen to the fans. And of course, Ann Sarnoff was speaking negatively about the fans, how they're so toxic, etc. All right. Now, coming off of that, we saw what happened. We had 1.5 million tweets and counting, because there's a lot more tweets right now today. I'm sure they crossed 2 million by this point, way past 2 million, because people are continuously, and we're talking about not even Snyder Cut fans. We've had critics speak positively about the Snyder Cut. We've had members of the community who have these little tick symbols, prominent people in the communities praise this cut. Of course, notable people in the DC community, notable writers and children of writers. Take, for instance, Jack Kirby's grandson complimenting the Snyder Cut on the presentation of these characters. So the Snyder Cut is universally received not only by people in the fan community, but now beyond that. It has broken into mainstream media, into mainstream area. So what does this mean? What does this mean? Okay, so I saw there was a discussion on another channel, I think it was Prime's channel, and Prime was talking about how Warner Brothers, they crunched the numbers. And what they're looking for is the general audience, the wider audience, okay? And they are saying that the Snyder Cut fans are a marginal set of fans. And so they're not interested in capturing just Snyder Cut fans or Snyder Cut demographic, but they want to get a broader demographic. This is their argument. Now Marvel has done that, so they're going the Marvel route. I'm trying to pursue that formula that captures the general audience, and they're trying to get directors that can do that. Okay, here's the thing. Their plan, obviously, is that. And he was trying to argue that, movies such as, Harley Quinn's, the movie that just came out with Harley Quinn, Shazam, there were fans, DC fans who supported those movies, but the general audience didn't get behind it. All right. So I want to talk to you guys about that because he's missing something very integral, and even Warner Brothers is missing something integral. You need the fans. Let me tell you what the fans do. And he tried to talk about Joker with the Snyder Cut and how Joker didn't drum up. The people really started pay attention to the Snyder Cut when Joker came on the scene. Okay, let's talk about this. First of all, you need the fans. You always need the fans to stir up the excitement for something, to stir up the reason for people to notice it. What the Snyder Cut movement did was they were able to get people's attention to Zack Snyder's work. The whole point behind the Snyder Cut and the whole reason why Warner Brothers eventually even released the Snyder Cut was because the fans pushed for that. All right? The fans over time were able to get people to see that the movie that happened, the theatrical release that happened in 2017, was not the same as Zack Snyder's vision. Okay? It was the fans that did that. The fans also drummed up the enthusiasm and excitement throughout communities. While controversy was going all around the fans, it was the fans that drummed that up so that the general audience was on board. And media started to take what the fans were saying and actually put it out. The fans then, in their excitement and their enthusiasm and their passion, drummed up their own media outlets to be able to speak on the Snyder Cut. So these are very important points. The success of the Snyder Cut now that has broken into mainstream, that mainstream is really paying attention to the critics, everybody's paying attention to the singular vision of the director. This is all happening as a result of the fans. Now, Prime tried to say that the fans supported, Shazam, and the fans supported Harley Quinn's movie, and the fans supported Wonder Woman 84. Let me say this. What makes a movie good, especially the debut of a movie, is enthusiasm for the movie. And that enthusiasm doesn't start with the general public. It generally starts with the fans. And then the fans give word of mouth, offline and online, and then we get the general audience jumping on board if they see trailers or they get their eyes on it. Okay? But here's another thing that's very important. What is being negated from all this information is, I didn't watch Harley Quinn's movie. I haven't watched Aquaman. I haven't watched Shazam because I thought all those movies were just following the same template that Justice League had. Why is this dog barking while I'm doing this video? Okay, so those videos, those movies came out, and I didn't support them. Okay, a lot of Snyder Cut fans, Snyder Cut fans were behind the Aquaman movie, so it did well. But a lot of Snyder Cut fans did not support Shazam after seeing Aquaman. They saw it as the same old, same old. They did not support Shazam, and they did not support, what was it, Gotham City Sirens? It wasn't Gotham City Sirens. What was it called? I can't remember, right? But Harley Quinn movie. I can't even remember the title of it. All right? Now, the point behind what I'm saying to you guys is, that these movies didn't do that well, mainly because the fans weren't behind it. And it's not that the fans decided to boycott the movie necessarily. They just weren't enthusiastic enough to get behind the movies. Not even to go watch them or see them. I knew those movies weren't my kind of movie. And when I see formulaic slapstick humor, it turns me off, because I know Marvel does that a lot. Situational humor is totally different. But then going for humor in movies constantly, and you can tell that the studio's involved because there are certain beats where, okay, we want you to put humor here. You know what I'm saying? That just makes it artificial. I watch comedy shows. I enjoy comedy shows. I enjoy a good comical movie. But it needs to be organic. It needs to be something that's not manufactured. It needs to be something that is, you go in a movie, sometimes you're surprised by the humor of it, like Wonder Woman did. Anyways, we're talking about the fans. Now, so the first point I want to make with you guys is, Warner Brothers is trying to shoot for general audiences with their formulas, and they're neglecting the fans. The fans carry your movies. And you say you want to have an all-encompassing general audience. Well, part of that general audience is your fans. They're the lifeblood that carries your franchise. If the fans are pleased, if the fans are excited, then everyone's going to be excited for the franchise. Joker. Warner Bros. Was not behind Joker because blah, 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 blah. Right? But the truth be told, it was people like myself, when we saw it, the fans of DC, the Snyder Cut fans of DC particularly, I'm going to say, who carried that movie. Again, the dogs are barking like crazy. You know what's crazy? The dogs weren't barking for almost the entire of this day. I started to make this movie, and all of a sudden they're behaving like idiots. It is what it is. That's in the background. Excuse them. So the point is, I'm cooking food. The point is, you need the fans in a franchise called comic book movie franchise, CBMs. You need fans. The fans are the lifeblood to drive the movies. So anybody arguing that these execs don't need the fans are idiots. They're idiots. You need fans. Now, what made Aquaman successful versus Shazam, the Harley Quinn movie, and Wonder Woman, I'm talking real success, in the theaters or anywhere, is the fact that the fans were involved in Aquaman. The Snyder Cut fans particularly, because of Aquaman's affiliation with Zack Snyder. James Gunn has he's very supportive of the Snyder Cut, and he's also very supportive of David Ayer and his vision to release the Suicide Squad. Been very vocal about it. That puts James Gunn in a very good, favorable position with Snyder Cut fans. He's smart to do that. He should really continue to do that. Associate himself with that and associate himself with the cause. Okay? I already went up on Twitter and said, dude, I'm not really hyped for your movie, but the fact that you throw your support behind Zack and you throw your support behind David Ayer, in spite of working for Warner Brothers, dude, I gotta respect that. So I'm gonna support your movie. At least gonna go see it once. If it's not good, well, I'm gonna go back and see it. But if it's good, I'm gonna go back and see it again. See, you gotta understand, when a director or an actor deliberately goes out of their way to show support for something that is meaningful, expect us as fans to rally behind them. Okay? I only saw Wonder Woman 84 once in the movie, but it's because of Gal Gadot, not Patty Jenkins. Gal Gadot drew me into that movie to see it. Was I enthused to see it? Was it the kind of movie I wanted to see? No. I know that for a fact now, watching it. Was it an okay movie? It was all right. I don't bash movies, and it's hard work putting in a movie. But I thought they missed the bar on the action aspect of it. All right? You know, I got to explain something to people. All right? I got to explain something to people. I'm a Christian, right? So violence is not necessarily the thing I take joy in seeing on the screen. I always believe violence needs to have a context, or there needs to be something important about it that I'm watching. It's not just violence for violence sake. So for example, when the DCU Online was doing Titans, and I saw them cursing and it was violent, it was cool, but there was no significance to the violence. Why were they doing what they were doing? When I saw James Gunn's Suicide Squad, yes, it's violent. Yes, you know, I saw a moment where in Matt Reeves' Batman trailer, we saw Batman being excessively violent with a guy. But violence is not enough. And that's the thing with Zack. Let me explain something about Zack. If y'all guys watch, when Zack is doing even an extremely violent scene, he may have, kind of reminds me of Ridley Scott with Gladiator. He may have a very tender moment in the violence, which is strange. You wouldn't expect that. But it's because he's trying to show the mindset of the person in the violence. It's not just violence for violence sake, which is what Joss Whedon missed the boat on, which is why Joss Whedon's cut of Justice League is in no way on the level of what Zack did with Justice League. Okay. So The Harley Quinn movie where she was being violent and there was some stunts and stuff, it was alright, but I didn't really dig it. I didn't dig that movie. I did dig the first Suicide theatrical cut. I still think it's a cool movie. I love the relationship between the characters. The storyline was paper thin. But the characters in that movie, to me, were a hell of a lot better than the second Harley Quinn movie, her own movie, which Margot Robbie, again, that was a pet thing. So I don't really like, because I like Margot Robbie. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand, I'm not just going to support a film because of Margot Robbie. I'm not just going to support a film because Jason Momoa, just to give service so Warner Bros. Can make some money off of me so they can continue to make those kinds of movies. That's not my thing. I'm not going to go into the cinema and watch things I don't like on a repeated basis. That's not my thing. If it's not my thing, I'm not going to go see it. And you say, well, you're going to support James Gunn. Because James Gunn is supporting something I want to go see. I want to see David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad. I really do. I want to see the Snyder cut continue onwards with Justice League Part 2 and 3. I want to see Ben Affleck's Batman. I want to see Cyborg's movie. These are things I want to see in the future, in the Snyderverse. And James Gunn, fearless as he is, has come straight out there and he's supporting that stuff. And if he says, restore the Snyderverse, guess what? Shit, everybody's going to go up in his thing and watch Suicide Squad. Everybody. Everybody's going to support him because that's what Jason Momoa did with the Snyder Cut. He was unapologetic. He supported it to the nth degree. And that's what we need right now. If James Gunn does it, it brings the whole house down. Warner Brothers is going to have to chill. And they could try and get him back or whatever. But if James Gunn does that tomorrow, it's over. It's over. But let's get back to what I was saying. So Warner Brothers needs to understand that the Snyder Cut fans, you began the universe with these kinds of people. There are certain kind of people. They want some of these people, like myself, we like the Ridley Scott stories. I'm not really into the Alien series, but I did watch it and I was enthralled by it. A thriller nightmare drama series. Great. Okay. It wasn't about the violence. That was great. That was cool. But in Alien 1 and 2, it wasn't about the violence. It was about the suspense, about discovering this thing. It was a thriller. And the stakes were high because of that. And that's where I think a lot of people miss it. Oh, Zack Snyder's all about violence. No, that's not what he's about. See deeper. James Cameron with Terminator 2, that was about violence, but it was not just about violence. It was the high stakes and the fast pace of trying to solve a problem within a certain period of time. Speed, which Joss Whedon did the script for, that's the same premise. So basically what I'm saying is Warner Brothers Pictures doesn't understand these things. Walter Hamada, he's trying to push, he wants, to have a spin-off movie of Aquaman with the animals from the trench. That's cool. But you gotta, you do horror and stuff, I understand, but you gotta understand, Walter Hamada, to get me, it's not just about a horror movie. To get me, because I come from a Christian background, I'm just gonna watch violence for violence sake. I wasn't into movies for a long time. It's got to have value. If you say you want to make movies for everyone, you can't leave out a particular demographic. And that's where all of Warner Brothers Picture side of Warner Media is missing the boat. You can't be like Marvel. You can't be like Marvel. Marvel's doing what it do. The CW covers Marvel's end of the spectrum. You formed all these universes. You formed DCU Online, now you got HBO Max. But you can't be recycling the same stuff on all of them. You gotta bring your niches. That's why the Snyderverse is important. And your analytics and your demographics should tell you that this makes complete and utter sense. So they're on their heels right now. They're on the back foot talking all kinds of junk. But we all know they squealing because they feeling it, because Zack Snyder's Justice League is just blowing up. It's just getting bigger and bigger. And the army that supports Zack Snyder is getting huger and huger. Because now it's gone mainstream and a lot of people are throwing their support behind it. And they don't care. And so hashtag restore the Snyderverse is here to stay until the Snyderverse is here. And let me make it clear, we do have a plan. The first one is hashtag release the Ayer cut. We're not stopping. Don't care about Justice League 2 and 3 right now. There is a cut of Suicide Squad that is ready to be released almost. Just a little bit more work. Ayer cut. We are going to see that to its end till it comes out. Release the Ayer cut. That is our objective. Don't care what Warner Brothers says. They can say whatever they want to say. We're not changing our minds. We must be tunnel vision on that. We must proceed. The Snyder Cut came from fans. Fans made the Snyder Cut possible. So don't let them fool you and let them say that you are not the demographic that matters. You are. None of their movies have had the success of the Snyder Cut. None of them. None. They don't want to give you the figures yet, but the figures are going to come out. None of them. Just look at what's going on. The Snyder Cut on Google Play is the #1 selling movie. Batman v Superman on VOD was put out there and was sold within hours. The Snyder Cut is the #1 playing movie on Apple TV. The Snyder Cut. The #1 selling, the #1 viewed movie on HBO Max. This is week 2. Remember that. This is week 2. We got statistics. Comes to retention of people and multiple viewings. The Snyder Cut is the #1 movie doing that right now. Let's keep the stats going because there are stats. Okay? There are stats. The Snyder Cut on platforms outside the US, HBO Nordic has broken records. In India, it has broken records on their streaming service. Need I go on? Need I go on? So no matter what they tell you, you can see it for yourself. Okay? It is a crazy investment that is going to lead to even bigger returns in the future with each successive movie. Let us continue. So like I said before, the Snyder Cut is mainstream. This is 3 years, 4 years in the making of this happening. Okay? The successes are astonishing. But we're not done. We're not done talking about the Snyder Cut yet, because here is the other consequential thing to consider. Consider that we are more and more fans of Zack Snyder's universe, and the fact that retroactively people can go back and view Zack Snyder's 2 movies, Batman v Superman, which was supposedly, Batman v Superman was supposedly a movie that fans hated. That's not true. The critics panned Batman v Superman. We know that 80-something% of the fans, when going into the cinema and coming out, actually enjoyed it. Now, they liked it. Some of them didn't love it, but they liked it. And when the ultimate cut came out, it was even better, both critically and otherwise. We know it's the studio's fault that Zack Snyder's movies didn't get the traction that they deserve, particularly Batman v Superman and Justice League. Okay? The studio listened to the wrong set of people. People who are not really fans of DC and the universe as it is or was at the time. People like Jody from Jody's Corner. Warner Bros. Always wanted to get a Christopher Reeve-like Superman replica. I don't know why. I don't know who the executives were. Obviously, these people don't watch movies. Obviously, these people are not into the universe. Obviously, these people don't know much about it. And they had puff pieces and spin pieces put out for these things. They tried to pit Tyler Locklear's Superman against Henry Cavill's Superman, which is stupid. Tyler Locklear's Superman is for television. Henry Cavill's Superman is for movies. Obviously, the movie version is going to be more fleshed out and much more work is going to be put into that. So obviously, that's going to be superior Superman. They have tried to manipulate media out there to make people believe things. And now their last political ploy has been to bring out Ann Sarnoff, CEO of Warner Brothers Entertainment, which is really where Warner Brothers Pictures is under, which has nothing to do with HBO Max and with Jason Keeler. You notice Jason Keeler is not saying anything. He doesn't need to say anything. He doesn't need it. The fans are going to take this where it needs to be. Jason Keeler doesn't need to say a single word. They know where they're going with this. So what I'm saying to you fans is this. I'm saying it's mainstream. And no matter what anybody tells you right now, this thing is on fire. It's on fire. And when you see people praising this thing, I'm asking for sequels, it's because it's on fire. This is an extraordinary movie. This is having a much more greater impact than Endgame did. And the only reason that's happening is because this director was denied his vision. He was denied his vision by the studio. So it's obviously going to have a bigger impact, and it's much more far-reaching in so many different areas and so many different places because of that. So the success of it is going to be exponentially bigger than Endgame. Not to say that Endgame wasn't good, but it's just that with respect to the successes, it builds off of that. And that's good for Marvel, and that's good for DC. All right? So the Snyder Cut is historic, it's incredible, and I'm guaranteeing you this. No matter what Warner Brothers Pictures tries to do, they're going to have to cave in, as they're already caving in. They're going to have to cave in to the demand of the fans, I say. Not just the casual audience. But the casual audience is being drafted in as fans because they're hearing about this thing. It's making noise. And the more it makes noise, see, the whole idea behind WB Pictures, and I'm going to specifically name the people there who are against this. It's the Kevin Sushiharas who's still in the background somewhere. It's the Jeff Johns trying to sabotage. He's been trying to have a monopoly over the thing. Okay? It's the Ann Sarnoffs who jumped on board. It's the Walter Hamadas. And yes, I'm going to mention Walter Hamada. Ray Fisher mentioned him by name. And no matter what anybody says, I am going in on him because he's doing the same thing and he's following the same modus. And also Toby Emmerich. I don't care what anybody says, that's the truth. And these people have been sabotaging the process. These people have been, and now you heard Ann Sarnoff talk about Hamada's verse. So they're taking the Zack Snyder verse, the Snyder verse, and deciding to talk about Hamada verse. They're trying to replace Zack and get rid of him. And it's going to fail miserably. Why? Because you don't have the backing of the majority of fans of DC. The majority of fans of DC, a lot of them are swaying towards Snyder's way of doing DC. Not to say, and we're even having Marvel fans doing that now, after seeing what Warner Brothers Pictures has done to Zack Snyder. He's only amassing support more and more. Warner Brothers look like they have not a foot to stand on. They look idiotic when they say put out things now, when they put out their pieces. They got media. I've seen even people who supposedly were Snyder Cut people spewing their rhetoric. No, the Snyderverse will stand. Zack Snyder wasn't the person who began release the Snyder Cut movement. It was the fans. The fans. It become mainstream now, but it's the fans that did that. That's the power of the fans. So anybody telling you otherwise and trying to make you impotent, don't listen to them. So what's the plan? Well, I already posted up some of it. Obviously, the plan is restore the Snyderverse hashtag and also release the Ayer cut. That is the plan. That is the next move. In addition, there are a number of events that will be happening on Twitter and on social media platforms, Twitch, YouTube, etc. Again, April the 18th, I believe, or 14th, I can't remember which one. There'll be a massive trending again of Restore the Snyderverse. Again, it's going to be done by, I forgot what his name is on Twitter. Okay, that campaign is going to be, this one was very successful, and we're going to move on to yet another campaign. And again, more support will be thrown in, and who knows, we might get to 4 million tweets this time. Now, besides that, here is the other monumental thing. What we need to raise awareness in through all of this, and I will not rescind from this, and there is another big event concerning that in April, is the awareness, mental illness, and suicide prevention, as well as feeding people. These are major topics we need to continue onwards. Also, members of the Snyder Cut movement, I will block you if I see you or hear that you are bombarding or attacking people who say to stop Asian hate groups, or people who are advocating for stopping Asian hate and have said nothing negative about the Snyder Cut movement. We are not them. That is not the way to proceed. We do not attack people, and we do not try to destroy upcoming movies by calling for boycotts. We're not them. What they tried to do to us, we are not going to do. We're not trying to censor anyone from wanting to see a movie. If they like it, then go see it. We are all about pushing for one thing and one thing only, the restoration of the Snyderverse. And we must stay focused on that. Whether you want to individually go see those movies or not, you're free to do. We are not about putting people in cages. We are not about suppressing people. Because why? Why? Because it was done to us. They say we're Toxic Rabbit fans. Those people who are doing that, I am not associated with them. People trying to close down accounts, trying to amass boycotts of Suicide Squad that's upcoming, or Godzilla versus Kong. I'm not in that. Keep me out of it. I'm not in that. I don't have time to be negative and be vindictive and hateful. I don't do those things. This channel is not about that. We are about the passion that we have for something and channeling it to make people better. And that's what we will focus on. Whoever wants to go watch those movies, great. I may not be interested in it, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go see it. You need to know who you are. And I'm not going to spend time on things I'm not interested in. So my interest is in Restore the Snyderverse. Obviously, I told you guys when Dune comes out, I want to go see that movie. I'm very interested in Dune. Okay, but the Snyder Cut has been something I've watched multiple times. I don't even know how many times. All I know is I rented the movie 3 times. I don't have enough money to rent the movie again, but if God blesses me, I'll go rent it again. And when it comes out digitally as a copy, I'm gonna go get it. And also, if I can get the Justice is Great version, which I haven't seen at all, I'll get it too. I also want to go see Tenet. I want to check it out. I love to go see movies. I love to go out there and see movies as well. And then I have to share some of these videos with my cousins and my fam. And we're going to watch it together. You know, I watched the Snyder Cut up to last night. Really awesome. I love it. I love it. Some people are putting little clips of the Snyder Cut up online now, guys from India and so on, so people can see bits and pieces of it. And that's awesome as well. And I know it can violate copyright rules and stuff, but sometimes I just get people more interested in it. They tried to leak the Snyder Cut, or the Snyder Cut was leaked, and it only fueled more interest in the Snyder Cut. So, I mean, Zach, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much, you know, for proceeding onwards because of us, the fans. And we as fans, we're behind you, bro. And if I just have to purchase something for Army of the Dead, I might even watch it. I might just purchase it just to support you. You know, it's all about supporting each other. But let's not forget, in the whole of this thing, and I see all the artists out there. I see the people doing skits, plays, breakdowns. Is great. I love it. I love it. The positivity is off the charts. I can see people are happy, and some people telling jokes and stuff. It's awesome. But here's the thing. We must not forget also, some people are not happy. Some people are depressed. And we need to support the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which is the charity that Zach is working towards, as well as Feeding America. Let's not forget Ben Affleck's charity. These are two very good charities to support, and they're working overtime still in this COVID. A lot of people still haven't gotten their monies and stuff to really make it through. I also want to support the entrepreneurs online here on YouTube, etc. I've not been able to network with a lot of you guys, but I have been paying attention to all these different little outlets that have come out, and they're getting access to, bigger outlets, and it's great. It's great. Me, remember, I'm an entrepreneur too, and I'm a businessman on here. I'm a businessman, okay? I'm a businessman on here. And I'm out here to also do my thing, and I'm doing my thing, obviously. So I'm really happy for each and every one of you guys out here. I know a lot of things are going on. I think Zach's supposed to be doing a stream or a watch along or something like that today. So I know a lot of you guys are not going to be watching this video. You might watch it retroactively, whatever. Now, here's a key to watching my videos, because they're long. What you need to do is simply go into settings at the top of your phone or wherever it is on your laptop or whatever, the TV, and click speed. Hit 2x, and you'll be able to go through everything that I got in half the time. So that's the trick to it. That's what I do, because I don't have hours and hours of time to watch through all those videos of different people. Yes, people. So listen, the plan is still the same. Do not fret. I love the art. I love the creativity you guys have online. And wherever you want to put your money where your mouth is, do so. Okay. AFSP, is a good charitable cause. I would say this much. I have contributed to it. I didn't want to say it, but I did. So I just did. So there you go. I would like you guys to do the same, as well as Feeding America is another great charity to contribute towards. And also, I would suggest you guys where you can help people in your area, your local area, and so on. Open your heart to people. Listen to them when you can. There are times you will not be able to listen to people and take them on and stuff. I get it. Respect to you on that. But for the most part, try to listen to people. Try to hear what they're saying. Sometimes people can be very abusive. It doesn't mean you have to be abusive back to them. Think about how you would be treated. Understand where they may be coming from and why they're being abusive. And if the abuse is something you don't want to take, then you can always remove yourself from the situation. And if they get too much, you can put an ultimatum down and handle them like that. Clamp it down, okay? I'm going to catch you guys later. Christ I am disciple out. Peace.